All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack just one single, remarkably provocative piece of text. Honestly, it's a phrase you might scroll past every single day, but when we actually stop and look closely at it, it completely redefines a super common backyard observation. We're going to deconstruct the architecture of curiosity itself, using just 14 precisely chosen words.
Here it is. This exact sentence is our entire focus today, and what's really wild is how it packs an unbelievable amount of psychological suspense into such a tiny package. Seriously, it's an absolute masterclass in tension. It takes something totally mundane and instantly turns it into a high-stakes conspiracy. So how exactly does it pull that off? Well, let's break it apart piece by piece to figure out the mechanics of this hook.
Let's start by isolating just the very first half of this text so we can establish our baseline. Why do dogs eat grass? I mean, it's a question practically every single dog owner has asked at some point, right? You watch your furry friend grazing out in the backyard like a tiny cow, and you wonder what's going on. Setting it up this way immediately grounds us in a shared reality, and it creates this expectation that we're about to get a logical, maybe biological explanation.
Which brings us right into section 1, the canine question. A simple observation. If we break down the nuts and bolts of this opening question, what do we actually have? We've got our subject, dogs, the action, eating, and the object, grass. It presents a perfectly ordinary, everyday action. There is absolutely no inherent drama in these first few words. It's just a statement of physical reality. Dogs eat grass, and we simply want to know why. It is entirely 100% innocent. But then we hit section 2, a hidden truth revealed, the parenthetical twist. Just as we settle into what feels like a totally mundane biology lesson, bam, the text takes a sharp, dramatic turn. Think about the stark contrast here. We go straight from this harmless, safe, innocent inquiry into a deeply sinister implication. Those parentheses act like a trapdoor, pulling us into a completely different genre. Suddenly, we're not reading a vet brochure anymore. We're in the middle of a thriller. Going from a harmless pet curiosity to a shadowy conspiracy is exactly what creates such an inescapable hook.
And think about the specific, heavily loaded language being used here. Truth. By intentionally dropping that word, the source material instantly elevates a random dog habit into a definitive hidden reality. And not just any reality, but a closely guarded secret. Using the word truth implies that literally everything else you've heard up until now is just a lie or a misconception. It promises absolute certainty in a world full of questions.
So that leads us to section 3. Who are they? Let's analyze the antagonist. Because if there is a hidden truth, well, somebody fundamentally has to be hiding it, right? This begs our first rapid-fire question. Who exactly holds this truth? Who are the gatekeepers of canine dietary secrets? The text leaves this completely ambiguous, which is honestly a stroke of structural genius. Are they massive pet food corporations, the veterinary establishment, some kind of shadow government? By leaving it undefined, your own imagination fills in the blank with whatever authority figure you're already skeptical of. But whoever they are powerful, and they are keeping secrets from you. And right after that, we have to ask a second really critical question. Why? Keep it from us. What possible motivation could anyone have to suppress the botanical snacking habits of a golden retriever? I mean, it sounds almost absurd when you say it out loud. The idea of a vast, coordinated effort to hide why a dog chews on a lawn. And yet, because of how this sentence is built, it feels incredibly urgent and vital that we find out. See how this builds step by logical step? We are forced through this sequence of active suppression. Step 1 establishes that a definitive truth about dogs eating grass absolutely exists out there. Step 2 tells us that the shadowy group, they, are fully aware of it. And step 3 is the ultimate kicker. They actively want to hide it from you. You are essentially positioned as the victim of a cover-up, and this text is your only path to enlightenment. Now we reach section 4, the ultimate mystery, the void of information. This is honestly the most fascinating part of this whole explainer, the abrupt end of our source material. Think about the balance of information here. The actual biological question, the physical act of a dog eating grass, is just a tiny fraction of the focus. But that massive void of the unknown truth, the implied conspiracy, that completely takes over. The text promises a huge revelation, but because it just stops, it leaves us swimming in a massive void of the unknown.
0. That is the exact number of biological facts or actual scientific answers provided to solve the mystery. Despite setting up the premise of the century, we get absolutely zero resolution. Nothing about digestion, nothing about dietary needs, nothing about pack behavior. We get a wildly suspenseful setup and zero facts to actually back it up.
Since we are sticking strictly to the source text provided, all we're really left with is this masterful, click-driven cliffhanger, the truth they don't want you to know. It's an incredible piece of linguistic persuasion, relying entirely on human curiosity and our natural suspicion of authority, rather than delivering any real educational value. It's a beautifully engineered, totally empty promise, designed solely to grab your attention and hold it hostage.
Which brings us to the end. It leaves us with one final, undeniable question that just proves how captivating a single, unanswered sentence can be. Will we ever discover what they are really hiding in the grass? Maybe the real truth isn't about dogs or grass at all, but about how easily a few perfectly chosen words can make us believe a dangerous secret is waiting to be uncovered. So next time you see your dog chewing on the lawn, ask yourself, are you just watching nature take its course, or are you witnessing a cover-up?